There's a difference between achievement and fulfillment. People like to collect accolades and polished trophies. And yes, gold medals might be valuable, but that's not what makes them meaningful. The work is what makes the achievement feel fulfilling. And loving the journey is what makes us happy. The truth is, I wasn't ever trying to break anyone's record. I was only pushing myself to see how high I could climb while doing what I love. So when you think about walking with the wise, I think about walking with people who know these two truths. First, the joy is in the journey, not in the result. And second, you should only compete against yourself, not against anyone else. Watching people who love their work, respect the process, and find joy in the journey is one of the reasons I love covering college basketball. As a broadcaster, and I love coaching youth teams. A few weeks ago, I was covering March Madness, and I noticed a certain look in so many of the players' eyes. Some of them knew they were playing in their last game ever. They were playing for the pure joy of it. Years ago, when I coached my sons, Brayden and Davis' teams, I saw the same look. Kids who were living in the now and giving it their all, not in pursuit of any trophy or title, just enjoying the journey of getting better. As I watched them learn what they were capable of, I learned something too, and it's this lesson. The thing about most achievements is that someone else created them, and someone else is doing the counting. So if you're asking who's the best at this, who's the most successful at that, you also have to ask, who decides what those measures mean? When we define ourselves by someone else's goals, we might miss out on the experiences that matter the most to us as individuals. But when we write our own definition of success and compete against our own limits, we can't lose. We can only grow. What stuck with me most about breaking the scoring record wasn't the experience of getting to the top. It was the experience of going to the top. And the moment I broke it, I started to think about what could I top next? Not because I wanted another achievement, but because I needed a new journey. The reality is that anyone can work really hard at something and still not reach the top. You might study really hard, research really hard, practice really hard, and still not be the best, fastest, or greatest. In fact, by definition, only one of us will be the best at something. So my question is, how do you still find the drive to push yourself? How do you still sustain excellence? That's the second trait I found in the people I consider wise. They make sure that the person they're competing against the hardest is themselves. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that in the NBA, practice was harder than the games. Why? Because it was just about the work, the work, the work. There's no score, no fans, no cameras. It was just us versus us. One year in the NBA playoffs, I was matched up against Michael Jordan for an entire series. Sports Illustrated called it my week of hell. But that's not how I felt about it. The only way I could play my best against Michael was not to think of it as competing against him at all. The competition was to see if I could be the best I could be. Every night I walked onto the court and said, today I'm better. And on the nights when Michael got the best of me, I didn't let that change my mind. No matter what, I always said to myself, this is the year, this is the day, this is the game, this is the play, this is the moment. And thanks to that competition with myself, I did have my moments. It's just that Michael had a few more. I used Jordan to push me, but I didn't let him define me. You can set high standards and use them to motivate you too, but they're only useful if they focus you, not if they distract you. It's good to set goals, but class of 2022, I'm asking you to remember that it's more fulfilling to find purpose in the process, and in the process to know that you are your most important competitor. There are a lot of mountaintops you won't reach. You can strive to be selfless, but you can always do more. You can dream of being a perfect person, but you will always find flaws. You can fight for a more equal society, but you will always have more work to do. Perfection isn't a realistic goal, but growth is always a worthy one. Achievements shouldn't be your only measure of success, but fulfillment is undefeated. When you find fulfillment, you're more likely to find wisdom. And in the end, you'll be the kind of person who others want to walk with too. Congratulations, graduates, and go green!